Hey guys, welcome right back to episode number 41 of Bobcat Corner. This is your host Stephen Vitz, and as promised back in episode 40, I was going to give you a little update on the Ohio Bobcats concerning their coaching staff. And this is an addition that had to be made concerning the linebackers coach position. As you may have known a couple episodes ago, when I did a previous update on the Ohio Bobcats, they a initially hired a linebackers coach in Joe Bolden, but apparently that fell through at the last minute because Joe Bolden decided to change course from Ohio to join Southern Miss as their special teams coordinator. So with that, the Ohio Bobcats had to go back to the drawing board, so to speak, and find a new linebackers coach to fill out their staff. And they have done just that. As I will read to you this one article by FootballScoop. Let me pull it up here. Shout out to FootballScoop, by the way. Sources: Ohio adding former Oklahoma assistant to defensive staff. And by the way, before I begin, I will provide this link as well as a few other links down below in the description box for you guys to check out. Chris Woods has deep experience across all levels of football, written by John Bryce. Shout out to him as well. This was back on March 4th. Ohio continues its post-Tim Albin transition. Now, I'm not going to put any weight on that because we were already past Tim Albin and what happened there. The latest, sources tell FootballScoop that the Bobcats have added a deeply experienced defensive coach to their staff, his name being Chris Woods. Chris Woods is set to become Ohio's new linebackers coach under first-year head coach Brian Smith, multiple sources tell FootballScoop. It's a move to bring considerable coaching experience to Smith's first Ohio University staff. Woods owns experience at Perennial Power, Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner, Oklahoma Sooners, as well as pro work with the XFL's Dallas Renegades, that was misspelled, Dallas Renegades, as well as the Big 12's Kansas Jayhawks. And in a minute here, I'm going to switch over to Chris Woods' career profile as a coach that digs in a little bit more on that. Continuing on here, additionally, Woods spent the past several seasons as the linebackers coach at Temple Owls, and it just goes on to talk about Ohio's remarkable 11-win 2024 season. Now switching over to the staff directory at Temple, which Chris Woods is still featured. It will also show his coaching experience. He's been around the block quite a bit. Chris Woods, he has considerable experience coaching the defensive side of the ball, as you guys will tell when I share with you guys the links to his credentials, show his profile here on the Temple University website, and also Wikipedia, what they have to say about him. He's had a brief head coaching experience as well, 2001 through 2003 with Mansfield, 2005, 2006 with Stonehill, and very briefly one game with Texas State in 2018. Now, Chris Woods, he's been actively coaching football, regardless of the level of it, ever since 1994. And that's a long time. So we're talking about a guy who has 30 years of experience coaching football here. So started with Plymouth State, offensive line coach, and then it goes down the line here. Went to Harvard for 1 year. That's impressive. As linebackers coach, special teams coordinator. He made some pit stops at, of course, Oklahoma, and spent a few years as the defensive coach for Oklahoma. And Dallas Renegades spent time in the XFL, which is considered minor league spring football, and also Kansas senior defensive assistant from 2020 to 2021. Most recently, he was the linebackers coach at Temple for 3 seasons, 2022 to 2024. And briefly, he was named the linebackers coach for the Arlington Renegades. So he was intending to get back with the Renegades organization in the UFL, previously XFL. So that's very interesting to note. Now, my thoughts on this, uh, first thoughts would be this: great hire, solid hire. Bobcats needed to get somebody on the defensive side of the ball for the coaching staff, and looks like we found a really solid piece to this puzzle. So, great job by the staff, by the athletic directing staff, and also the coaching staff headed by Brian Smith. We have a solid lineup of coaches, which, if you just check out the Ohio Bobcats website and their coaching staff, you'll see it's a very considerable lineup, plenty of coaching experience to go around between all those coaches. So, yeah, you need one thing that I will say about coaching staffs in football is that you need not only considerable experience, which helps, but you need that ability to teach. You're not just there just to go through the motions. You're not just there to go through the heat of battle every time you hit the field and have your players play the game. As a coach, you have to teach. You have to spend time with your players before and after games, during practice, all this. You have to be able to teach your players certain things about the game of football and to really, be there for your players even when they're not playing. So Chris Woods, from what I've seen, from what I've read about him, he looks like that kind of guy who really wants to teach the game of football, not just coach. Coaching and teaching can be, different things if you think about it. Chris Woods is that kind of guy who wants to actually teach and not just coach. So, yeah, I think we got a good hire here. We got a good addition here for our coaching staff, and I'm happy. I'm pleased. So, moving right along to the second part of this video, which is Bobcat related again, and more specifically, the Mid American Conference as a whole. The 2025 Mid American Conference football schedule has been announced, and this was posted on FBSschedules.com by Kevin Kelly a couple days ago, again, March 5th. And this just dropped not too long ago. And I will provide links to these things down below, including this announcement article. And it will just highlight to you guys what games you can expect to see be played by these MAC schools, not just in conference but out of conference. Featured non-conference games, let me just read this part. Featured non-conference games for each MAC team in 2025 include examples here: Akron at Nebraska, Ball State at Auburn, Bowling Green at Louisville, Buffalo at Minnesota, Central Michigan at Michigan. That ought to be interesting. Hopefully Connor Stallions is not around. Eastern Michigan at Kentucky, Kent State at Oklahoma, Miami of Ohio at Wisconsin, Northern Illinois at Maryland, Ohio at Ohio State, which is something I'm going to really talk about going forward this year, Toledo at Kentucky, UMass, new addition to the MAC, UMass at Missouri, and Western Michigan at Michigan State. Now, I will share this with you guys down below in the description box. And reviewing the schedule here, just to share with you guys, my candid opinion about this. As time goes on here throughout the year, I'm going to be dissecting this more, but I'm just going to give you my initial thoughts right away. Yeah, the first three games of this football schedule for the Ohio Bobcats, it's needless to say, very brutal. Again, I'm going to provide a link to this, to the Ohio Bobcats schedule in particular down below. You guys can check it out. And in your spare time, you guys can dissect this for what it is. It's basically a gauntlet. It's definitely one thing that you want to schedule tough competition. Being in the position that we're at, we're the defending Mid-American Conference champions. Woohoo! But now we're entering this kind of thing where we have to take on the big boys right now just to start off the season. Talk about running a gauntlet. Week 1, August 28th, Thursday. It will be the Ohio Bobcats going to Piscataway, New Jersey, SHI Stadium to face the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Okay, Big Ten team. Greg Schiano, he's going to get his team ready. At least I think he is. He's going to get his team ready for that game. Um, Opening day there. Who knows how Rutgers is going to be? Who knows how they're going to really prepare for this game? If they're going to either take us seriously or not. That'll be interesting to see. And week 2 is definitely something that I'm going to keep my eyes on. This could be the game that really starts to really set the tone and really paint the picture for what the Ohio Bobcats are going to be in 2025. That week 2 game would be Saturday, September 6th at home. Keep in mind, at home on Frank Stolage Field in Athens, Ohio. The Ohio Bobcats are hosting the West Virginia Mountaineers of the Big 12. Now, West Virginia happens to be one of those schools that I'm pretty fond of. I have an appreciation for. It's one of those teams outside of the Ohio Bobcats that I find myself rooting for a lot. West Virginia Mountaineers. So it's kind of a dream match up between these two teams, Bobcats and Mountaineers. But yeah, this is going to be a true test. West Virginia, they're starting to rebuild their team now under the coaching guidance of Rich Rodriguez, who comes back to Morgantown, West Virginia, to coach the Mountaineers. But considering this is week 2 of the season for West Virginia, I don't know how far along the Mountaineers are going to be by the time they get to Athens here on September 6th. So that's still going to be something to watch. If West Virginia is uh, going to come out firing on all cylinders, or they're just going to come out flat. We'll see. And September 13th, Saturday, following week, Bobcats have to make a short trip from Athens, Ohio, up to Columbus, Ohio, to face the Ohio State Buckeyes at Ohio Stadium. Yes, those Ohio State Buckeyes that just won the national championship in the college football playoff. Yes, those guys. And for many reasons, that is going to be quite the game for me to check out because when it comes to my experience watching college football games dating back to the times when I was a kid, I grew up in my childhood. I grew up as an Ohio State Buckeyes fan. I did, really, I did. But as time went on, in more recent years, I've switched sides to the Ohio Bobcats for various reasons, which I'm not going to get into at this particular time, but it's going to be, you know, quite the game to see the team that you were rooting for when you were younger against the team that you are rooting for now. That's going to be something for me to watch in particular. And I'm not going to have any expectations for that game whatsoever. The Buckeyes are the Buckeyes. They're firing on all cylinders. Everyone knows it. They just won it all. They won the national championship. I have no expectations for that game at all. And when it comes to that stretch alone, the first 3 games, without getting into it too much, we're going to have plenty of time to really evaluate these games. And we're just many months away from the start of the season, so we got plenty of time to think about this. But initial thoughts are, okay, this is going to be a gauntlet. First thing that comes to my mind is run the gauntlet. Ohio Bobcats, you signed up for this. You wanted to schedule this. Just do it. Go get right through it. You are the defending Mid-American Conference champions. You got to act like it. You got to get up for these games. You got to be mentally prepared. And I've said this so many times dating back to that Kentucky game last year. It's a mentality. Guys, it's a mentality. It's not just talent. That goes without saying. Obviously you got to have talent, but you also have to be in the right mindset to get up and play these games. So if you're the Ohio Bobcats, you definitely have to have the right mentality here. And this is not just one game, it's 3 games in a row that you're facing tough competition, power conference teams. And they know what they're going to be doing, and you guys had better know what you're going to do. So, yeah, and I would feel better about how the Bobcats are doing if I knew more about what they're doing with their offensive line. We've not had any updates about offensive linemen joining the Ohio Bobcats lately, and that has become a concern of mine in recent months. Hopefully, as the spring season goes along, that we'll get actual updates to that, because we have to know who's going to be up there to make up our starting offensive line. So the fact that we're not getting that yet is kind of concerning me right now, to be honest with you. But anyway, yeah, that's definitely quite a gauntlet for the first 3 games for the Ohio Bobcats here in 2025. And obviously, the back half of the season here, it's typical MAC play, conference play. No surprise there, which starts with Saturday, September 27th, hosting the Bowling Green Falcons. We get to play Bowling Green this year at home in Athens. And then we have to travel to Ball State, to Muncie, Indiana, to face Ball State October 4th. We get 2 bye weeks. I've noticed that Saturday, October 11th, and Saturday, November 1st, we're off on both those weeks. So maybe that will do us some good to rest up in between all these games. So, and Battle of the Bricks, by the way, Battle of the Bricks game against Miami, Ohio Redhawks. That's going to be at home in Athens, Ohio, Frank Stolage Field, Tuesday, November 4th. And I've already gone into it before about, how midweek Maction has not benefited any of these teams in the Mid-American Conference in recent years, and pretty much not since the beginning anyway. So that's going to be more of a topic that needs to be highlighted going forward, is the overall productivity of Maction and how beneficial it actually is for these MAC schools, Ohio being one of them included. So we're just going to have to wait and see about that. I'm of the opinion that Maction needs to be retired at some point soon within these next few years. I don't think Maction is going to be a thing that we can hang on to for long. And I'm hoping MAC schools are going to realize that soon enough. Just ask Northern Illinois, they're on their way out after this year, after 2025. So, and we're bringing in UMass, that's great. So we're welcoming UMass back in. I want to make one short comment about that. University of Massachusetts, UMass Minutemen. Any UMass fans out there that may be watching this, shout out to you guys. Welcome back to the MAC. We welcome you guys back into the MAC, and hopefully you guys can stick around with us for a long time. And hopefully we can help you out when it comes to travel, when it comes to accommodations, when it comes to any kind of contributions that we can provide for you, and you guys can provide for us, both on the field and off the field. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, that's it. That's just what I wanted to put out there for you guys. Very interesting schedule for the Ohio Bobcats in 2025. Absolutely tough to start the first 3 weeks of the season, but you got to believe. You got to have the right mindset, as always. Nobody thought Northern Illinois could beat Notre Dame this past year. Nobody had that on their bingo card, so to speak. So I think the best chance that the Ohio Bobcats have at winning a game in those first 3 weeks would be week 2 at home against West Virginia. I think that is our best chance of the 3 games. West Virginia week 2 at home. I think that's our best chance of actually stealing a game, getting a win. If we can get out of that gauntlet 1 and 2 and just really kick into high gear afterwards and just run the table afterwards, that'd be great. That'd be something that would really fit into our plans. So we'll see how everything goes. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. Chris Woods is our new linebackers coach. Welcome, Chris Woods, to the team. And Ohio Bobcats 2025 schedule is out. So go check out the links down below in the description box and let me know what you guys think. This is Stephen Vitt reporting once again for Bobcat Corner. If you like this content, uh, please subscribe to my channel, STV Castle. And if you like this video, please give this a like and a thumbs up. It would really help me out. And feel free to drop some comments down below if you're interested in knowing anything more about the schedule or about the coaching staff. I'd be happy to respond to you guys. So yeah, just let me know what you guys think, and thank you so much for watching. Take care.